And we're out. Right. Except those of you who are still listening, because now we're going to discuss the episode more. Right. So...
Hang on. And I've closed that one, so Jay's got a backup of just that audio. And now let me start a new one up. And
right,
here we go.
I really wanted Sonic to die.
Right.
Like, I'm being very serious.
Well, Tails has already died once.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, like that whole idea with the negative continuity, you can do crazy stuff. Like, as I said, killing the main characters. And like, can you imagine if Sonic got pulled into the black hole and then they just, I don't know, parody Sonic Colors ending or something?
Yeah, but it's like in the sort of way that it's not sort of continuity where like they can destroy half a cast and in the next show nothing happens. It's more like everything just reverts to 0.0 by the end of each episode. It's not like you can suddenly say Tails had a tumor and died, and the next episode is like, oh, it's all fine.
Turns out it was just indigestion.
And also Tails was consumed. He wasn't killed by the octopus.
He was slowly digested over a period of several millennia.
So he had plenty of time to be passed through before the next episode.
Yeah, the thing is too is that from what I've heard of the episode listings on Cartoon Network and all, I did see that there will be another single episode next week, which is I believe Eggheads.
And then the Carnival one.
I don't know, but they're not
skipped it.
What's quite interesting is it seems, if everyone seems to have never really noticed, but the French airing seems to be sticking to the original run of episodes. So they don't seem, whereas the Cartoon Network seem to be changing their mind every day of what order it's playing out. So like some episodes may end up playing out in their original intended order on the French station.
Production order and broadcast order seem to be in a bit of a flux.
Oh, in regards to that, actually, apparently next week we're getting 2 episodes.
No, we are getting 2 episodes next week. Okay.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I'm just going by the wiki here. It could be completely wrong. But I referred this to this one last time.
Tom, you're using Wikipedia.
I'm just, like I said, I'm referring to this at the moment.
That's not a source of anything.
No,
And also, you know Cartoon Network. It's very much like they at the last minute can just say, "No, we're gonna switch it up. We want to keep this going longer. We're pushing back Eggheads. Going to be the Curse of Buddy Buddy, and I don't know, the sidekick
apparently
again."
It's meant to be both of them on the 6th of December.
They could change it an hour before, though.
No, it's a good thing that Cartoon Network are showing 1 episode a week, because surely that means they want the run to be longer.
It does make sense that you would do a double episode to start building it up, and then when you're at a point, and it is indeed after 3 weeks, then you could sort of dial it back to just the one, and then you've still got that audience there.
The thing is,
I'd rather go on.
No, it's just the thing is that I'm looking at the Cartoon Network website, and I see we had the new episode today. Next week we're gonna have Eggheads as the new episode, but Double Doomsday is gonna be re-airing, and then December 13th we're not getting any new episode at all.
Well, that might just not be. That might just not be set yet.
Back-to-back reruns of Buster.
It's not the worst episode. Why do they keep playing it?
It's Sidekick and Evil Genius crash on your couch for a few weeks on the 13th.
Okay, that's a good segue. It can be a sideway as well.
A sideways segue.
Going around
it's a sideways segue into the actual story writers for this episode, because I didn't get to mention them in the main recording. But we had Mark Banker with Alan Denton and Greg Hahn. Both of the last two worked with the actual script itself for television. But Mark Banker, who did the story, also did the story for the Sidekick. So I don't know if there was any sort of similarities that you guys saw there in terms of the characterization or not.
I'd say Tails was pretty similar. Like in terms of post Sidekick, Tails, and this, like the Tails in this one I feel like there's a similarity. I could just be connecting things that aren't connectable.
Yeah. Also, a bit more about Mark. In the event that Mark's been sent this by Bill, just because he did it for the last one, it was a good episode, Mark. We really enjoyed that. But also, Mark is currently the head writer on the new series of the Magic School Bus.
There's a new Magic School Bus.
There's a new series coming 2016. The Magic School Bus 360 Degrees. It's called. And Mark Panker is the head writer. On the Magic School Bus.
I hope after that one they go to the Magic School Bus 1.
Let's go back to our previous continuity and cause a time paradox. Yeah. So, Kez, this is what you look like in the past.
Oh, God.
Well, can you imagine if they did, like, a Magic School Bus Forever, where it's, like, the old cast meeting the new cast?
Just forever in a time loop. Wait, are we talking about Digimon now, where the old cast...
No, we're talking about Turtles.
We're talking about Sonic Boom.
Magic School Bus Mark II.
Batman.
Also did 41 episodes of Adventure Time.
That's a good show.
Worked on Duck Dodgers.
That's another good
Danny
show.
Phantom. And 6 episodes of Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
Oh my God, awesome.
That's one that we never got here in Canada, and I'm so sad because I've heard so many good things about it.
You missed out.
I did. I heard so many good things, and yet I missed out.
Yeah, that's Mark's thing. Much like we mentioned last week, actually, also worked on Beware the Batman and Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. But yeah,
oof.
But Space Ghost, man. So I mean, let's break it down to this individual rundowns of what you guys thought. Donnie, just the episode generally. I mean, what did you think of it? Where does it fit in with the previous 6?
It's not bad. I particularly liked it. I thought Eggman's dancing was somewhat hilarious, and I love the part where Sonic and Eggman are interacting and trying to boot up the energy to the Doomsday device, and it got some laughs out of me. I mean, it's not the best episode in the lineup. I still think Can an Evil Genius Crash on Your Couch for a Few Weeks? It's episode 2, okay? But I think that one's probably my favorite, but I would be lying if I said that this wasn't a good episode, because it was still pretty good. I'd probably rank it maybe number 2, 3, around there.
So definitely in your sort of top 3 so far, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Tom?
Yes, I enjoyed the episode, personally. At the same time, it kind of, in my eyes, it felt like it was like an experience in the realm of what it's like for a fan to meet someone they idolize and then suddenly try and work underneath them and their possible reaction. But at the same time, it's something I would have expected to see like midway through the actual like running of the show rather than so early on, if anything.
It was indeed interesting to have this sort of hero worship of Eggman. I thought it was an interesting premise.
It does set up the lineup, well, a possibility of a follow-up, though, which I'd be interested to see if that actually does come true or not.
Yeah, it is. It's probably the only episode so far. Actually, I tell a lie, because technically Buster does that as well. It does set up the possibility of a direct episode sequel, which I don't think anything else has done so far.
What about if both of them end up combining together? He finds Buster and then tries to reuse what Eggman did before back in the Buster episode. Like, combine them into one.
That would be terrifying. But, yeah.
And awful.
Tanner, who is doing a marvellous job, by the way, because he's very ill.
He's slowly
I hit puberty.
I wouldn't call that a sickness, but yeah, Tanner's doing an awesome job.
I think, like, it's interesting, though, because this episode, like, we're not airing them in the correct order, so it's weird that we've had so many Eggman-oriented episodes, like, in a row, it feels like, and yet I don't even care. I love it. Like, it's great. Aside from the one joke at the beginning, the dance and the respect the stash or whatever, I thought that fell super flat. Like, I felt bummed almost. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be one of those episodes. But no, like, other than that, this is easily top 3, maybe top 2 of my favorite episodes. Just because, like, the number one, this show makes me so happy that Orbot and Cubot are in it. Because, like, every time I play Colors, you know, I just think, man, I just want an entire thing of Orbot and Cubot. And holy crap, they gave it to us. Like, I just love them. Even when they're not being super funny, I just like them naturally. And so it's nice to just see, like, interaction between, you know, Eggman, Orbot, and Cubot, and then, like, a third party. I find that really cool. No, definitely. Like, I really enjoyed it, the entire thing. And I do hope we see Dave the Intern in, like, backgrounds and episodes, if not as a minor character. Because I think, like, design-wise, he's actually not that bad. Like, I'm talking, he's not super bland like background characters, but he's not super over-the-top main character. He's that nice middle for minor character design-wise.
I mean, like Leroy the Turtle. Where
I don't even remember his design, honestly. I will
like
remember.
He's got better character design and basically more rememberable than him.
For sure, yeah.
Remember
My English is terrible today. How do I English?
Jamie, Bossman, what's going on?
I actually like this episode a lot, but it does make me ask a very significant question, which I know is one I bring up all the time when I'm in these things. It makes me wonder more and more what the point of Styx is, because this was a perfect example of why she doesn't need to exist in the canon at all. I like any Eggman-focused episode. I think they usually write for him quite well. Mike Pollard obviously does a good job.
He does a great
Cubot
job.
and Orbot, it's a great, you know, they all do very well, and it's all very funny. I do prefer it, but then, like, you compare that to last week. No, what was the last episode?
Last one.
Squalitude, wasn't it?
Squalitude,
Yeah.
No, the one before the last one. My Fair Stixie. Like, that was awful, and the
Not that
Buster
bad.
one was awful. So I'd actually rather. They seem to know how to write really well for the villain characters. I don't know if they've really flushed out the main cast.
It's one of those things, isn't it, that I would imagine that Eggman's much more enjoyable to write for as a character, and he is probably the character that beforehand was the most fleshed out. He's got the most angles that you could come at him with.
My.
I mean, there is that, but yeah, I mean, there's
God, Tom.
Tanner made a good point about how we've had all these Eggman episodes in a row, and what was the episode title for next week?
Eggheads.
Okay, so that I don't know if we know a synopsis of that, but I'd hazard a guess that there may be a sort of intellectual Eggman Tales contest or something, which would be nice actually, because there's not been, apart from Translate This, there's not been much in the way of Tales, and precious little with Knuckles. Really, is there?
Other than episode 1 of Sidekicks, there really hasn't been that much focus on Tails. And in terms of Knuckles, I think they had a little bit of focus on him in My Fair Stixie, but other than that, it's been mostly Sonic, Amy, and especially Eggman.
Yeah.
Eggman.
It's impressive how much more screen time Amy's got than Tails.
And
I'm pretty sure we're gonna get more Tails in Buddy Buddy Temple, because I mean that's Buddy Buddy. It's gonna be Sonic and Tails. Then Unlucky Knuckles is obviously a Knuckles-oriented episode, so it'll be interesting to see.
But is Knuckles that unlucky that in the episode called Unlucky Knuckles he doesn't appear?
Oh my God!
Unlucky
Plot
Knuckles.
twist.
Yet you're still not being written for.
Yeah, the episode just opens up and says, "Oh no, poor Knuckles, he's got the
Knuckles,
flu." And that's
yeah.
just the only reference.
Knuckles
He's
is
ill for the.
What's
He's
that,
in bed for the
Sonic?
rest of the
Knuckles
episode.
is trapped down a well.
Oh.
Well.
Yeah, I still don't like.
I
Styx.
also agree with what was being said about Orbot and Cubot. I think it's great them when they appear. It's just always great, and they work very well as like your B story.
For sure, yeah.
As your B story, and as in a bit like Knuckles has been being used as the sort of go-to gag for sort of a cutaway to somebody with like a reaction. It was a bit like Knuckles with his pheasants, the other episode, but I mean to actually have Dave effectively murder Cubot was a bit of a stretch.
To be fair, though, how many times now in the series has Orbot and Cubot been dismantled already?
Yeah, but they're normally still activated, and he was very much dismantled, deactivated, and bleeding.
Well, what I found interesting with Boom so far is it's still a kid show, obviously, but it seems to be doing a lot of things that aren't usually done for a show that airs at 7 in the morning, like Tan had previously mentioned with the references to kill and die, and now today's episode, which was for a 7 a.m. show, was quite gruesome.
So we're thinking that they whilst it is obviously it's for the new audience starting at the specific age range, that they are writing for the older fan base.
Yeah. Because they're the ones going to.
Well, I mean, if you actually look at the popular kids shows nowadays, I'm talking like the ones that aren't the ones that are just made to pander to kids, like the kids shows that are made by like adults who want to make good entertainment. A lot of them, even though they're for kids, they do put in a lot of adult humor and adult jokes and stuff that like
for kids.
Just no, what? Just no.
If you did, you're being kicked out of this call right now.
He did.
No, but I mean, like, for children.
You had to think about that. It's like, that's my bad pun for the day.
Like,
goodbye. Good night.
They do put in like those jokes for the older audience and the adults, because that's who they're writing it for. Also, it's not just a kids show. It is a show aimed mostly at kids, but they know they have an older audience, one who can think about stuff. Like I'm sure that the drive-through joke went over the head of a lot of kids. Like they wouldn't get that. Some of them, they just might not.
Yeah.
This show was not designed for that time slot.
Yeah.
It's
very picky, because actually this was one of the concerns that the Sonic fan base had when this was announced. Because it was one of the big criticisms that was levelled at Sonic X as well when that came around, because Sonic X was specifically for the age group alone, and really did assume that you did have precious little in the way of knowledge about Sonic coming into it. And the criticism that the fan base levelled at Sonic X was, well, other shows can write for adults as well. Why didn't you do stuff for us within the show? Sonic Boom was announced, and the general feeling was that this sort of two layered approach with the writing, where you've got the jokes that the adults would get, and it is actually it's obviously very true of sort of things like Adventure Time, and even The Simpsons obviously has that. That slightly sort of darker level above it where they go sometimes. But the general feeling was with Boom that it wasn't going to go there, and as we've seen with these episodes, it actually does. So it's interesting to see where this is going to play out. Just Jamie's bang on the money that this show was not designed for this time slot. So the question is the reason it's in that time slot because that was the only time slot they could do?
I don't think the network had faith in it.
Or they didn't have faith in it.
Yeah, they may change depending on how it's going. It's really hard to tell with these vague claims of how well it's doing. They might think,
I think it's going to change.
I think they might turn around and go, oh, actually, this is quite popular. We might give it a better slot. But I think their initial reactions would suggest that the network didn't have huge faith in it. They possibly played the game before as well.
Probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
You know what? When I was watching this episode, when the end sequence when Sonic's bouncing off the things up into the black hole. The only thing that went through my head is I would really like a Sonic Boom game based on the TV show, because what we got wasn't that.
Actually,
I was expecting an A button symbol to appear when he was doing that.
Do you want to know something, actually, on regards to that? It's been announced that the Archie team that are doing this Sonic Boom comics have officially announced that they're going to be working alongside the cartoon writers with the future story arcs for the comic books.
Because it just a game set in the cartoon universe would be so much joyous and less, oh my god, evil Snake.
A snake, a snake!
It just amazes me
It's a bad
how much. The more I watch the TV show, it amazes me more and more just how different in tone the two products are, considering they're meant to complement each other. And they're actually, apart from the character designs, they couldn't be more further apart. Even the characterization of some of the characters. Like, Knuckles in the TV show is played as like a lovable but slightly dumb. But in the games, excuse my language I'm about to say, but he's played borderline retarded. So
it's sad but true.
And it's like, I don't understand. They don't. I don't.
It's
bloody game.
I mean, my annoyance is with the way Knuckles is that he's gone from the Knuckles as a character trait started that he was very, very trusting, and it was that naivety that got him into believing Eggman. And now over the years, it's sort of gone, well, he's a bit stupid and he's a bit gullible, and now it's just played out. He's just dumb.
Yeah, but the thing is, the TV show still plays him off as.
Go on.
I was going to say, the TV show still plays him off, I think, as gullible. He's not stupid. He's just not the brightest tool. He's the one. Everyone has that friend.
He's not the brightest tool.
Like we have Tom. He's not the smartest one. But then in the game, he's played like an absolute idiot that doesn't even know his left and right. Literally doesn't know his left and right.
I don't know. Have you guys played the game Viva Pinata?
Yes.
So that got a show, and
it did. Yeah.
Similarly, the game and the show were same thing, same characters sort of, except they were totally different in tone, in everything. In fact, it was very similar to Sonic Boom, where the show was all character and gag based, with archetypes of the dumb, the smart.
I like that show. I remember.
Yeah, it was a decent show.
It's actually very.
It had a decent intro. It had an intro that worked.
That's true. But later games would then take the characterization from the show afterwards. So we might be getting a Sonic Boom thing similar, possibly in the future, where the first ones, they were so different because they weren't done at the same time, obviously. But I think later on they might converge into something. Mind you, then afterwards, once they did converge, it's generally regarded that the series died. So we'll see.
But yeah, the video game writers, which may well include actually Alan Denton and Greg Hahn, coming in and helping out with the writing and the tone of the comic. That's a good thing. Very much so, I think, because that was one of the things we said in all of the previous episodes, like the after episode 5, I think, was regarding how it just didn't make a whole heap of sense in terms of everything being in alignment, and this will help a lot more. And frankly, it'll also help poor Ian Flynn's workload. It's a little bit strange though. I was thinking about this the other day because they're talking about this. I mean, this is like Comic 5. This is like Sonic Boom 5.
Yes.
Where are we on actually comics coming out?
The next one is Volume 2.
It is Volume 2 because I did wonder, because I'd been looking around for when Comic 2 was out after our 5 versions of Issue 1. Gee, thanks a bunch, Archie. And
it's just Archie tradition.
I've not seen anything on eBay, and I know that there's several comic stores that do like pre-orders for comics on eBay. and it's something I like to do with some of like Sonic Universe, and I almost said Sonic Underground. Then that'd be terrible.
No, they was going to do
Sonic,
a Sonic Underground now.
And the main Sonic comic as well. But I've not seen anything for Sonic Boom 2. And I'm just wondering if no one's going to be stocking it.
Well, this is a genuine question. I'd be interested in everyone's thoughts are. How safe is the Sonic Boom franchise now? Because
how safe is it?
In the sense that the TV show isn't going to be what makes Sega money. That's a vehicle to drive sales of toys and the comics and the games. Now, we already know the game isn't going to make Sega anything. And I wonder if the reputation the game has will now have a counter effect on the merchandise. And then, because if the merchandise doesn't sell and the game hasn't sold and the comics are, I'm very vague how
comics
I
are good. I enjoy the comics.
If they don't sell, then there'll be no motivation to continue doing the show.
Yeah, the comics will continue as they are, because if you remember, the Sonic X comic lasted, I think, 40 issues. And Sonic X as an actual animated TV series was well in the ground.
Yes,
and it was still going, and it was used as a springboard to launch Universe in the end. But
actually, that brings up a good point. Where if you've been reading all the Archie comics and news and stuff, they're doing a crossover again with Sonic and Mega Man, and they said that they're not only bringing in the main Sonic and Mega Man worlds, but other ones. And so I actually think that leading up to that, we're going to get an issue of Sonic Boom where they stumble into a portal or something, and then they're going to appear in the Worlds Unite. Because the way they're hinting at it, it sounds like it's going to be Sonic, Boom Sonic, Mega Man, and Mega Man X all coming together, and just
sounds like a really bad fanfic, if I'm honest.
Oh my god, Worlds Collide was the best fan fiction I've ever read.
Oh,
that was just glorious.
That was golden. I won't lie.
So I do think what's going to happen is they're going to take the Boom comic at least up to that Worlds Unite. They might end it there. They might continue it afterwards. They said that it's going to cause irreparable changes to the Archie universe, and I'm like,
leave it
alone.
Gonna
happen?
Well, they had to change it because of the Penders.
Well, they changed it. There's the original, and then it got sort of altered, and then there was Genesis Wave, and then there was Penders, and then there was other Genesis Wave. And it's leave it alone now. The poor bastard's having to write for this thing, and having to keep changing it every 5 minutes because of something or the other.
The weird thing about all this stuff is I've been keeping up with mostly the Mega Man comic, but in the Sonic comic, there's no memory of what happened.
Actually,
and yet,
I'm going to argue with that. Basically, since I've been keeping up to date with the Sonic side of things, those who were affected, the main cast, remember because of Nicole, basically, the cybernetic links.
Best
and for those who don't know, is the little computer contraption that Sally...
But didn't they forget it soon afterwards? Because I had the issues where they said, their memories were starting to fade after they retouched.
Spoiler alert, guys.
Basically, they merged together as one, so they remember their past, but they're not going to dwell on it. They're going to focus on refixing the shattered world, which is led on to the Unleashed story arc.
They merged together as one, and then suddenly the end of Evangelion became Sonic.
I would love that. I would love to see Sonic cross with Evangelion just for randomness.
But then in the Mega Man comic, you got one character who ended up going back in time, back to Worlds Collide, seeing what happened, and now in the comic, he's literally in jail drawing Sonic's heads, a bunch of Sonic heads into the jail wall with a shiv. Just a wall covered in Sonic heads. And it's
and
so it makes you wonder what they're going to do.
Hired. It's all canon now, Tracy. That's how you got hired. You went back in time and saw all the events.
Boobs.
Exactly.
Amy Boob Sonic. Search it. Sonic Show pops up apparently.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna search that right now.
So, I believe we've covered everything. Apart from one other thing, I finally figured out what Eggman's base looks like.
Okay, what?
It's a soda stream machine.
I don't know what that is.
Anyone who's older than Tanner, it looks like a soda stream machine. And just have
I'm
that in your
Googling
mind
it.
from here on in.
Soda stream machine. What is
Oh my
this
good
thing?
god, so it does.
Plot twist.
Oh my god, it does.
It is legit.
That looks exactly like it. And it comes in red, blue, black. Wow.
Yep. So just remember that when you're carbonating various syrups, that you're actually using Eggman's base. And hopefully there'll be a new licensing agreement soon.
Maybe you can have eggnog.
I'd buy that.
It-
I'd buy that.
Yeah. But didn't you say that you'd buy the pajamas? Or was that Tom?
No, that was.
I said I'd buy no pajamas.
I think that was Sonic the cosplayer.
So
No, I
speaking of-
said I'd buy Buster. I'd buy
No, it was
Buster.
Sonic the cosplayer that said he would buy the pajamas.
So speaking of Sonic TV shows, Sonic Stadium just tweeted out a vine of a snippet from a 1994 Russian TV show about Sonic.
I was going to say, what the hell is this? I didn't know Michael Bay was doing video games back in the day.
People who are still listening, if they go to Twitter and follow the Sonic Stadium, there's a post made on the 29th of November, what we're all looking at.
Basically, Sonic's on a motorbike, chasing us like a rally car, then jumping onto a helicopter, and then there's a jet fighter shooting missiles at him. And he jumps
graphics
Is
straight
this
better
Sonic
than-
Adventure DX HD?
No, this actually has graphics better than Rise of Lyric, I think.
It rose at 60 frames per second.
It at least has better textures. Take a look at that checkerboard floor. There is no blurry textures there.
Yeah, that's quite a thing.
And on that note,
And on that confusing note, which I'll
Thank you,
I'll
Donnie.
hopefully edit that vine into the video for them. See,
Sonic Boom Rise of Russia.
rise of
oh god,
rise of Putin.
Can you just imagine Rise of Lyrics cover with Putin's face instead of lyrics now?
you know what?
Google,
before we
internet,
end, I
do
have
it.
to say, I never realised until Tanner, I think, pointed out, I never noticed Lyric's face within that box cover. And
When I
then
saw it though, I died because if you saw, I did a one of the thumbnails for one of my Let's Plays. It has like a faded out Lyric face, and I made it to look like Tails gets trolled. And then I look on the damn cover, and that exact face is there in the corner, and I'm dying because
gonna
I
have to
did that
look
as
at
a
this now.
joke. Like
No,
I
It creeped me out when I first noticed it. It's like suddenly you see a snake's face staring at you. It's like one of
but
those
like I was
eye
was
puzzle.
too busy laughing. Like it was like it made me laugh way too hard because it's that exact like Tails gets trolled face in the corner.
Right. Everyone needs to go now.
Go
We're gonna go
away!
play.
I need to edit a thing.
And someone's already gifted the image of Eggman dancing.
Of course.
Perfect.
Don't you know anything about the internet? Right. It's time for us to go. So from Donnie,
Hi.
Jamie,
Bye.
Tom,
Howdy.
Tanner.
I finally hit puberty.
Muzzle toff, and myself. We'll see you next week for 1/2 episodes to be confirmed.
Buy
Don't
our
know,
CD.
but we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Hi.
Puberty.
Really, puberty was your sign off?
Yes. Jamie, this is an important moment in my life.
Wow.
I'm finally
You're-
becoming a man.
Dear
You are
diary.
11.
Dear diary.
Now I can
Today,
be serious when I do Let's Plays against Tanner.
today, I got puberty. I also got Sonic Boom. and I played it, and I watched it, and I really became a man.
Actually, I like to believe that Sonic Boom is what gave me this sickness. Rise of Lyric specifically.
Sonic Boom
It has
Rise of
actually made
Sickness.
me physically ill. Twice now.
Sonic Boom. It'll make things lower that weren't low before.
It'll
Oh, by
make
the
your
way,
heart
Tanner, I found Young Tucker. Are you excited?
Yeah, I saw it in the Brain Scratch Let's Play of it, and I'm like, oh my god, that's such a terrible place for him to be.
But do you know what happens when you do it?
No.
You know what happens when you don't do it?
Yeah, then the one area is all covered in thorns.
Yeah. And you just basically walk through and go out the other side, yeah?
Yeah.
You move on with it. If you complete it, it's not covered in vines, and there's this huge puzzle to get through that same door you just walked through when you don't do it. So it's like, wow, so
Oh
my
my god,
reward
are you
is...
serious?
So like, wow, if I complete this mission, this area is like 4 times as long. Hooray!
Jamie, can I just say that I know Tanner's now become a man, but this is the weirdest birds and bees conversation I've ever heard.
It's bringing them down to knees. It's all they want to do.